Hi guys, and welcome to another video. So this video is going to be about working for a company. Now, I've been working for Prestige for about 11 months. It started at the start of January 2021, and now it's coming up to the end of November. So nearly coming up 11 months, and I feel like as a new handler, talking to people who are aspiring handlers and things like that, I feel like talking about working for a company will be beneficial for you. But I think it's also important that I'm transparent about working for Prestige. So working for Prestige, the managing director, Lou Curtin, has been someone that has been a good friend of mine for about 7-8 years. So we met, he was a goalkeeping coach for a football team. I come into the football club and played for their reserve side, where he was the first team goalkeeping coach. But because of that, we become good friends in the football club. But also then he found out that I played golf, and we went out for a round of golf, we got chatting, and from then we kicked on and we've become really good friends. We've helped each other in certain things. He's come on some golf trips, I've helped him out with certain bits that I can help him out with. So when it comes for me looking for a company to become a security dog handler, that was a great person to be able to go to and say, look, what do I need to do? How do I need to go about this? He said, look, here's a website to get your SIA license. Here's the number for the trainer that we use for all our dog handlers. Get that all sorted, and then we'll go from there. And another important guy is Jeff. So Jeff, from what I can tell, he is in charge of like the dog handlers and the dog side of the company. Works alongside Lou, makes big decisions alongside Lou, and he's the nicest guy you're ever going to meet. And yeah, I've known Jeff for a long time as well, and like I say, he's a really nice guy. I would say probably not someone you want to annoy, because as everything in this industry is that if you're not willing to do or work to the way that they want you to work, there's always going to be someone else, and there's always going to be someone better than you or a similar ability that you can be replaced. Now that sounds very harsh, and I feel like as a company that's the way you have to look at this, is that if you're a dog handler and you don't want to work the way this company works, or you're not willing to put in the extra effort and make the company look as professional as it can, you can be replaced. And I'm very aware of that fact, even though I know Lou and we've been really good friends for 7-8 years, and I've known Jeff for a while. I understand that I am replaceable. If I let my standards slip, or if I do something that's gonna be a detriment to Prestige Guarding, I understand that I am replaceable, and I would fully expect that if I would sack myself, then I'd fully expect Jeff or Lou to sack me as well. So I've got a nice working relationship, although I obviously keep friendship and business separate, and I understand that when I come to work, I can't take the piss. I can't say, oh, that's okay, one of my best mates is the managing director, he won't fire me. I still try and keep my standards to what Prestige would expect from every dog handler. And hopefully by the way that you guys have watched my videos and that, you see that I keep my standards high, and maybe sometimes I go a little bit further. Just stupid little things about sweeping up, cleaning the site. The site manager here says, look, you don't have to do that, but I use it, so therefore I feel I should be part of like that. So what should you be looking at in terms of a company? Now, from the 11 months of experience I've got working for Prestige, I would say that you want a boss that's approachable, a boss that you can just sit down and have a chat with about anything, about any problems that you feel like you might have, or be able to ask them questions and get the answers off of them. I've heard people say things about pay. Now, there are instances in the industry where people have struggled to get their wages, or struggled to get their money, or not been paid on time. And if you dive into the industry and you look for them bits of information, you're always going to find them. And someone said that to me the other day, that was one of their concerns about coming into dog handling. And the best way that I can try and explain that is that if you wanted to become an electrician and you dived into the electrician's world, you will find information about electricians not getting paid, electricians not getting paid on time, not getting their wages. It happens in every industry, and if someone does say to you that dog handling you struggle to get paid, if there's only, I know of maybe 2 or 3 stories, and if you consider that there's thousands of dog handlers around the country, it's a very small percentage that happens, and it may only happen to them once, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, but they remember that story and they carry that all the way through. So if you're concerned about companies where you're not getting paid, then I'd say just give companies a chance. If they miss one payment, give them a warning and say, look, you need to pay me on time. If they miss 2 in a row, or maybe 2 in 3 or 4 months, start looking for another company. There's enough jobs, I believe there's enough jobs out there that if you're not getting treated the way you want to be treated, you can find that treatment that you want elsewhere. And let's say that you've passed your SIA licence and you want to become a dog handler, but like someone the other day, they don't have a dog, they're not sure what way to go about it. They're leaving their job, or they've been let go from their job and they need to find a job quickly. Don't always concentrate on like dog handler has to be the only job I can do. Now, if you look at Prestige, so Prestige, they've got the dog handling section, they've got mobile, they have the statics. I'm not sure if they do doors, not 100% sure on that. But there's 4 different sections of the security industry, 3 of which that you could do whilst training a dog. Now, if you become a doorman on nightclubs, let's say, or you do static or even night mobile work, you can do them jobs and then be able to train your dog in the day or go to day training sessions. Don't ever think that being a dog handler is the be all and end all, because you are a security officer with dog handling capabilities. So at some point, all of us have just been a security officer. As soon as I passed my SIA licence, I was just a security officer, and if I'd needed to become a mobile driver, do static work, I would have done that whilst then trained my dog to move into the dog section. So don't get caught up in, if you can't get a job as a dog handler, that's it, there's no point in doing it. Go through your training. And something that Aaron said in his interview, he said that before becoming a dog handler, sometimes it's good to be a doorman or to do mobile or static work, because you learn on a low level the kind of people you're going to be dealing with. Now, obviously dog handling or the dog section, sometimes you meet them people when they're not thinking correctly, or they come there for a purpose. With things like doorman, static, and sometimes mobile, you're meeting them people when they're not really at the point of wanting to commit a criminal offence, but they are acting up. So yeah, like I say, just because you want to be a dog handler and you haven't got a dog, or you want to get a dog and train it up, doesn't mean that you can't do another section of that one company. Like, I could have been a mobile driver for Prestige for as long as I wanted whilst I trained my dog up, and then as soon as the dog passes NASDU, I simply went from the mobile team into the dog handling team. So it's not the be all and end all. So don't always concentrate on one section. Look at a variety of ones and see which one suits you at that time. Also, when you're looking for a company, I wouldn't get too caught up in job adverts where you see a company's going to pay you £14 an hour or £14.50 an hour. I would always look at every job and see what they're offering, because if you start looking at adverts and saying, okay, well, they're going to pay me £14 an hour, but this advert here is only going to pay me £11 an hour, make sure you look at every advert, because that £14 an hour might only be a 2-month contract. They might only need someone for a couple of months, where that £11 an hour, that might be a continuating contract where you go there and work, and then you have unlimited time of working. So yeah, when you're looking for job adverts and places you want to go and work, make sure that you're clear about what the contract is. Is it a case they just need someone for a couple of months because they've got a 2-month contract, and they're willing to pay the higher amount because it's such a short contract, whereas somewhere that's not paying as much but is full-time employment is always going to be beneficial over the course of the year, because after that 2 months of earning £14 an hour, you now need to go and find another contract or another job in order to start getting paid. And yes, you may, if you sign that 2-month contract with that company, they may take you on full-time afterwards, but that full-time employment might not be £14, £14.50 an hour. They might, because that contract is X amount of money an hour, because it's short term, it doesn't mean that the job they're going to put you on next is going to be that high. That they may only be able to pay you £11 an hour on once they take you on full time. So always make sure, if you're looking for a company, looking for a job, make sure that you do look at what they're paying, but also how long their contracts are. I mean, if they're going to pay you £14 an hour and it's full-time employment and endless hours, then yeah, that's great. Obviously that's going to be better than the £11 an hour, but make sure that you understand what the contract is and what the actual job is before you discard one company for another. But another thing about working for a company, now I've been working for Prestige for, like I say, nearly 11 months now, and I go into the office quite frequently. I like to pop in there, just go and have a chat and see Jeff, see Lou, see Andy, who's one of the other office staff, and I'll just go in there and have a chat, make sure everything's running nicely, make sure they're happy with what I'm doing, but just to have a chat. Now, them and one dog handler are the only people I've really spoken to or I've met from the company. Now, I can't tell you how big Prestige is as a company in terms of manpower, but what I do know is that you will not meet probably 90% of the people who work for that company, just due to the fact that you're working nights and obviously sleeping during the day. And it's important that you understand that this is not like a boys' club. This is not where all the dog handlers meet at one point during the day and then they all go off to their sites. I mean, the last time I saw Matt, the other dog handler, was the last time I handed over to him at the previous site back in like March, April time, and I haven't seen him since, and we haven't really spoken since because we've had no real need to talk. So just because you work for a company and maybe there's a couple of people you don't like in that company, you're not really going to meet them, and if you don't want to talk to them, you don't have to talk to them. There's no need for you to talk to them. Obviously that would change if you work on a job where 2 dog handlers are required, then obviously you'll have someone to work with. But if you're like me, where it's just me and the dog, I don't need to worry about if I don't like someone who works for Prestige, because I don't ever see them, I'm never going to talk to them. But you have to understand that as well, is that don't feel like you're going to go into a company, it's going to be like a boys' club and it's going to be all the dog handlers sitting around drinking tea, having chats about stuff. It just doesn't happen. It might happen in different companies, I don't know, but because all dog handlers work nights, sleep during the day, they work all weekend, your shifts will probably always match up with each other, or you'll always miss each other. It'd be quite easy for me to speak to Matt and meet him at training, but he might go to training on a Tuesday when I'm coming off shift and have a shift that night, so I never go training on a Tuesday. So yeah, like I say, if you're looking to go into a company, don't always feel like that it's going to be like a boys' club. You will not meet probably 90-95% of the people who work for the company you work for, and in some cases, some people may never even meet the managing director. If someone like Jeff, who's in charge of the dog section, if he hires me, there's no need for me to meet the managing director, and if I didn't go into the office, I wouldn't ever meet him. So don't feel like when you work for a company, you have to like everyone that's there, because 9 times out of 10 you're never going to see them. And what does the future hold for me? So the future for me is I really enjoy working with Prestige. I really like everyone that I've met and that works for the company. I can be honest, I'm they're flexible with me, they work around me, they support the YouTube stuff that I do. They're very happy with me doing it. So yeah, there's no real need for me to look elsewhere or look for more money. And I feel like they're an ambitious company. I know Lou is a very ambitious sort of business person. So I feel like the company is going to evolve. There's going to be different things that maybe come in that possibly I could be part of. So yeah, it's really exciting. Now, Prestige Guarding are looking for new handlers as well, and I know they've been looking for some mobile drivers as well. So if you're interested in, if you've got an SIA license and you're interested in becoming a mobile driver, I'll put a link down to the website below and to their Facebook where you can message them. But yeah, give them a call. If you've got your SIA and your NASDA and you want to become a dog handler, then also give them a call, because they're looking for handlers, mobile team, and like I say, it's a great company to work for. I'm not just saying that because Lou's my friend, because I could quite easily go and work elsewhere if I wanted to. I just choose not to, because I like the company and I like everyone that's in it. So I hope this gave you kind of an insight to work, what I feel like working for a company is like, and what it's like working Prestige. If you're not getting that kind of satisfaction, then maybe you can look for another company, or maybe there's certain ways that you can adapt, maybe go into the office more and speaking and having chats with people. Because I feel like when I turn up to speak to Jeff or speak to Lou or speak to Andy, they remember obviously who I am, but it keeps me in the forefront of their mind and keeps them thinking like, okay, he's doing a good job, or like the only time we ever think about him is when he turns up here. We don't have to think about him when he's on site or when he's off, when he's not on duty. So yeah, like I say, if you're not getting that satisfaction, maybe it's you that could change a little bit, but if not, then always look for another company and enjoy what you do, because like I say, working as a dog handler is a really enjoyable job, and if you can do it, or you can do part of the mobile team or whatever it is, it's well worth doing. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below for more videos, and I'll see you again in the next one. See you later. Bye.